Hey class, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about your next essay assignment, which is the rhetorical analysis. So you are going to create a rhetorical analysis by using your skills in reading, research, and analytics. This is a 3-page essay, and you will be analyzing a historical speech. There are 10 options for you to choose from, and they're all listed in our Blackboard shell. So the goal is for your essay to demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of how the speech responds to and is shaped by a specific rhetorical situation in a particular cultural and historical context. So basically what you're going to be doing is looking at a speech and analyzing how well it addressed whatever the issue was at the time. And there's lots of speeches for you to choose from, but essentially what was the situation and why was this speech the best speech at that opportunity? Or maybe if you don't feel like it was the best speech at the time, explain why. So in order to create this paper, you're going to have to do a couple of things. The first one is you're going to have to read the speech very closely and responsibly. This means you're going to take notes, you're going to annotate, you're going to look up words and phrases which you're unfamiliar with. You're going to look very closely at any language patterns and claims, and then you're also going to have to conduct some research. You're going to conduct research on the speaker. Who was this person? Who was the audience? Who were they talking to? What was the occasion? What was the setting? Is there any other historical or cultural contexts that are important in understanding this speech? So let's talk about how you're going to actually organize your essay. So in your introduction, you're going to do a couple of things. First of all, you're going to explain the rhetorical situation and the broader cultural and historical context of the speech. Why is this speech being given at this particular moment in history? And all of them have something to do with something that happened. And so this shouldn't be too difficult to just explain what's going on at the time. I also want you to identify the speaker and their purpose. Why is this particular speaker giving this particular speech? And then obviously in your introduction, you're also going to provide a thesis for your analysis that's going to tell your reader sort of the main points of the speech and the rhetorical appeals that you're going to be looking at in your essay. Remember that your thesis needs to include your topic, your stance, and your roadmap. So your topic for this essay is going to be whatever speech you are analyzing. Your stance is going to be whether or not that speech was successful, and your roadmap is going to be, like I said, the particular main points of rhetorical appeals that you will be looking at. As always, please underline your thesis for me. And then in your body, I want you to go through and identify the main points that the speaker gave and how they supported those points, as well as looking at what rhetorical devices or strategies they use. So these can be, ethos, logos, and pathos, but they can also be some of the other rhetorical tools that we went over, or any rhetorical tool that they used in the speech. And as you identify the tools that the speaker used, be sure to use ample and appropriate evidence from the speech to illustrate or back up your point. These examples of evidence can be summaries, paraphrases, direct quotes of words or phrases, even whole sentences. So for example, in the Why It Worked article that we read, they talked about Barack Obama's autobiography, and he said things like, I grew up in, and then explain the situation in which he grew up. And so that could be a example of the particular rhetorical device, autobiography, that he used. So that's what I'm looking for in your body paragraphs. And then in your conclusion, just re-examine the central focus of the speech. And this is where you're going to evaluate the speech's success based on the rhetorical situation analyzed in your essay. So you're going to say in your conclusion either, yes, this speech was successful because, or no, this speech wasn't successful because. And remember your conclusion, you're going to bring it back and bring it home for your reader. So reference back to your introduction as well as summarize those main points that you had in your essay and show how they proved your thesis. Okay, so just like all of our other papers, this paper is going to be written in MLA format. This is a 3+ page paper. I would like for you to do a works cited page, and you will have at least 4 sources for this essay. One primary source, that will be your speech, and then you will have 3 secondary sources. These can be biographical sources about the speaker. These can be research sources about the history and culture around the speech given. These can be sources about the use of rhetorical devices in speeches. So anything in those categories are completely fine. If you struggle with finding sources for this project, just let me know and I am always happy to help. And then for this essay, visual aids are optional. You do not have to have a visual aid, but if you do use a visual aid, make sure you cite it on your works cited page and recognize that it does not count towards the 3-page minimum. As always, if you have any questions about this assignment, do not hesitate to ask. I'm always happy to help.